Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is N.E.R.V speaking. Today I'm continuing with the series. We're gonna talk about OCs again. But I am going to start off with a new original character. She is relatively new. Well, actually, she was made in 2018, which was 4 years ago. Gosh, it feels like yesterday. But her information is not as long or complex as Isfrit's, so this should be easy. On the other hand, we'll see about that because I can't possibly create something new at the moment. Also, just as a random side note, and I am possibly getting way ahead of myself, but this is not her clothing style. This drawing was made for a challenge by Sagro6014 in Artfol, where we had to draw a character in aesthetic. It was randomly generated and mine was Doku Kawaii. Doku means toxic, poison, radioactive in Japanese, and kawaii, well, cute. I did not know this aesthetic was a thing until I checked the aesthetics wiki page, and boy, it took some time for me to figure out the style because it's like a combination of Yami Kawaii and Pastel Goth, but hopefully it's fitting. There's a reason why I chose this character specifically for the aesthetic, which you will find out. But with that, let's get started with her info. So first of all, what is her name? Good question! I don't know! No, in all seriousness, I never had a real name established for her, and it's not because of indecision or laziness, but because she's intentionally made to be an enigma. She goes by the name Xiva. This name is an exception because I didn't search for etymology and there's no hidden significance behind it other than I thought that it was nice sounding. But whether it's her actual name or her alias, that's a secret that only she knows, quite literally. She is established to be 16 years old, her birthday is on February 15, and this time she's completely human. Personality-wise, Xiva is collected and a bit eccentric. She tends to act as though she's in a limbo age-wise, sometimes being overly excitable or very reclusive and out of touch with mannerisms. She looks at people as if they were aliens, or acts as though she was an alien herself. Yet, once you earn her trust, she can be less outlandish and more outgoing and caring. Her persona is marked by diligence, a possible product of her background, which I'll get into that in a few. She can be easily amused by novelties, though trust me, Xiva is anything but gullible. She is a collector. Relativity doesn't exist for her. Everything has a purpose and use. Therefore, things that seem to be insignificant, she takes and makes them functional. So she is rather creative. She possesses a highly observant and calculating side, which can be noted as a positive trait as well as a dangerous one. You'll see why. Amazingly, she's self-conscious about her own physique and weight. So unlike this artwork, she tends to dress up from head to toe with loose-fitting clothes. Perhaps I'll show her true fashion in a future speed paint. Regardless, her most notable features are her honey eyes, slender hands, and the beauty mark she has over the left collarbone, right cheekbone, and a third one above her eyebrow. So, why did I make this character? Well, her purpose was for survival stories. Something like Battle Royale or just a humans versus beasts of sorts. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I do roleplay. And these stories were going to involve action, adventure, and death. I kid you not, we had to be okay with killing off our characters through death matches. Unfortunately, they never came to fruition because, well, the majority of us didn't brace for the possibility that our creations may die. She was my only character at first, so I was like, oh hell. I feel like I would just be kicked out entirely, which it may not have been the case since a creative, resourceful person like Xiva can do some of the darnest things to survive these scenarios, but by then I wasn't sure. Of course, later the idea was scrapped. I added more people into the newer version that involved less death. Still, it just never happened, and as a result, Xiva fell into obscurity. Until now, since I'm talking about her. So, since she was created for plots involving matches and survival, she must have some skills and abilities, right? Well, of course, what do you think I made her out to be? If we were to depend on abilities like strength, agility, resistance, intelligence, charisma, and scores from 1 to 5, well, based on her physique, she's a 2 on strength. Muscles are not at all her strong suit. Agility, it'd be a 4. She's flexible and quick. That's her second strength. Resistance, well, I think she'd be a 3.5. It's an average score because she can handle herself just fine and can be capable of running long distances, but in a melee combat she wouldn't hold up an extensive beating. Intelligence, she'd definitely be a 4.5 and not a 5. She may not be strong, but she's crafty as heck. You may never know what crosses her mind and what she may do with all these things she picks. Finally, her charisma will be a 2.5. I'm not basing this off on looks alone because she is fairly beautiful in my opinion, but rather on how good you are at influencing others and likely to make companions. Xiva is outgoing, but she's erratic as aforementioned. Actually, the more I think about it, I think she'd be a 3 just to balance that out. Good looks, little to no social appeal. Now, I did say that she's not tough, but she does know Krav Maga. And if anyone is familiar with this type of martial arts, it's quite deadly, but appropriate for survival scenarios. However, her skills on it are intermediate. In other words, she only knows self-defense and a few moves that can incapacitate someone. But it takes effort and stamina. The latter being that she has to carefully distribute. She has a good sense of touch and knows basic sign language. Finally, like I mentioned before, she's a collector/harvester, which plays a big role in her specialty, and that is botanical warfare. In reality, it is chemical warfare because she crafts manual hand-sized gas bombs, and she does know how to make impact grenades, but the thing is she combines chemicals with high concentrations of poisonous plants, whether she uses it from seeds, berries, or leaves. I checked that counts as biochemistry and no, it apparently doesn't. Well, in a sense. But I thought it was safer to call it botanical warfare because botany is the closest thing that Xiva does. She has a vast knowledge on plants, which ones are good for you, which ones can be bad. So, what are the plants she uses for bombs? The first one, Lily of the Valley. Yeah, I was actually surprised to hear that these beautiful flowers could be poisonous for not only animals but for people too. And it's just not one part of the plant, it's all of it. The flowers, the berries, and the leaves. So while the smell will remain as sweet, the effects that the gas bombs will make upon inhalation are dizziness, rashes, stomach sickness, cardiac arrhythmias, and even death. Yeah, I can't believe one of my favorite flowers is that dangerous, which makes it twice as unbelievable that Xiva will be capable of making such a deadly solution. Second one, and please forgive me for the spelling, is Dieffenbachia or Dieffenbachia. Just like the lily of the valley, everything about this plant is poisonous. However, it's a common houseplant, and interestingly, it is known as dumb cane and mother-in-law's tongue because it is a big irritant for your tongue and even eyes. It is not as fatal, but the gases can cause burning, itching, and can swell airways if the target remains on spot for a while, causing asphyxiation. The third concoction is rhododendron. It's a bit of a tongue twister. The flower is very beautiful, and today the meanings are just as lovely. But, did you know that back in the Victorian ages, this flower signified danger? And with good reason. This was probably the world's first chemical weapon. Dating back to 65 BC, where King Mithridates VI of Pontus used honeycombs from bees that sought nectar from rhododendron, placed them on the roadsides, and poisoned an entire Roman army sent out to conquer his lands. How could Xiva not get her hands on a classic? Its honey causes a slew of ugly effects, from hallucinations, fainting, to death. With the bombs, it provokes abdominal pain, difficulty breathing, and paralysis if the target does not withdraw immediately. Yes, it may be fatal. The final plant she uses for her gas bombs is Deadly Nightshade, aka Belladonna. I think the name speaks for itself, and many of you have probably heard of it because it's a popular toxic plant. It's also quite ancient, but just in case, Deadly Nightshade can cause blurred vision, rashes, headaches, convulsions, hallucinations, and yes, death as well. This is perhaps her most deadly solution. She barely uses it, but when she does, yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. Also, I forgot to mention that she does know how to make mustard gas and smokescreen, but it takes time to make it and is not likely to be used in a survival setting unless there's a base. But of course, not all plants are used for the offense. She does know how to heal using herbs. It just depends on which side you're on. You might be thinking right now, wow, she sounds kinda broken. Aren't there any weaknesses or downsides for Xiva? Well, yes, there are. First one is that she obviously has to consider the wind direction. She cannot throw a gas bomb if the wind blows at her or her allies' directions. Otherwise, the effect of whichever bomb she uses will fall on them. It doesn't have to be at the moment, so that's why it is important to just throw it at the targets and run, just in case. Gas masks or any sort of equipment that can protect your face can also make you resistant or even immune to the gases. Unless it's mustard gas, that can go through your clothes and affect your skin. Herbal medicine takes minutes or even hours to take effect, so healing must be done outside of combat and at a safe spot. Finally, Xiva is human, therefore she has the same weaknesses that you and I have. Things like severe blunt force trauma, multiple stabbings, and shooting can kill her. For the last part, let's talk about her backstory. Well, frankly, there's not much story behind her, both purposely and because I just never expanded on her character. She does come from an immigrant family, but her real place of birth is a mystery. Why they moved is also unknown, but it's mostly attributed to finding a better life. Her family is rather large. Xiva is the second youngest out of 6 siblings. All of them led studious lives. One could say that maybe her life was idyllic. She wanted to attend college, become a botanist, but that came to a stop due to the, I wouldn't say games, but the circumstances that led her to basically fight for her life. Quite honestly, I don't see that Xiva chose to participate voluntarily. Someone or something else did. But at the same time, she wouldn't fight against it. It is something that just happened and she accepted it as if it's part of a tradition. Her family also did not oppose to it. I know this sounds quite Hunger Games, and yeah, the setting for her could be very much dystopic. But like I said, it was never established if this was a sick show where teenagers had to fight against one another like gladiators as a consequence of a revolution, or something that is part of a law or unexplained. She is subject to changes and maybe someday she could have a standalone story. But I have to be super careful that it doesn't seem like a blatant copy of teen dystopian plots. Honestly, she'd fit for a cyberpunk setting. Who knows? For now, that is everything I have on Xiva. It is quite weird and funny that the topic grew progressively dark while I'm making this uber colorful drawing. But I wanted to jump on and talk about an obscure character before I get back into talking about those with elaborate lores. Not only because I wanted to show you the painting process, but also because ever since I brought Xiva back due to an aesthetic event, she's been on my mind a lot. And what better way there is to give description than by immortalizing it through a video. And maybe, just maybe, by having this on my channel, I can someday give her the development she deserves. And what's this? The video's not over yet? Why yes, I had left the gap then seems, because I am in the mood to make it into another commentary / old-fashioned speed paint process. I felt like adding good music on the way, and I don't know, watching processes like this is satisfying. So I hope you enjoyed this little break in the meantime. Bye!
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Life kept spitting at my feet and forced me down a dead-end street, when all I had went up in flames, burning only dark remains. I cover up every part of my skin, oh, 'cause I don't like the person within. Oh, I know I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. Whoa, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. So I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. A lie. No, don't wanna live a lie. We'll live a lie. Ooh, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. Oh no.
And here we are again, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I shall conclude this video. Thank you for making it at the very end. Let me know what you think of Xiva or this series overall in the comment section. Oh, before I go, I always forget to announce this, but I finally opened up a Ko-fi page! Finally, I can plug it into my channel. I know, I'm a plankton, but if you love my videos and wish to see more of my artworks and processes, then consider buying me a coffee. I wish I could say buy me a pina colada because that shit is delicious and I don't like coffee, but it'll have to be coffee for now. Oh, you know what? Forget it. If you love this video, please buy me a pina colada and a coffee mug through Ko-fi. I need that cold, fruity deliciousness. If that made you laugh or smile, hit the like and subscribe button. if you want to, of course, but I'd be super grateful and happy if you do. Anyways, I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.